Hey there, Blaze here, and today I want to talk about Pocock and Lambie's housing reform proposals. It looks a lot like Bill Shorten's 2019 policy, which likely lost Labor the election at the time. But maybe since the RBA woke up now that Labor's in power and hiked interest rates 12 times in 14 months and probably caused our current real cost of living crisis, Labor might be able to do it now with little pushback. Among Labour people, everyone knows negative gearing used with the halved capital gains tax after 1 year on any rental property causes bad outcomes. It makes owning houses a good investment. Coupled with weak investment laws, Australia is sort of a tax haven for dirty money, even. And unlike some other countries where being a tax haven means you get a tiny fraction of the profits with no real downside for the country, in Australia, the side effect of this is that housing is made overly expensive. So let's get into their proposal. They reckon it'll bring in up to $6 billion per year for the budget, which could also be used for housing supply spending. They asked for five costings from the Parliamentary Budget Office. 60 billion over a decade is the maximum amount under the harshest reforms. Under their lowest option, the capital gains discount would be removed for new rental properties purchased after July 1st and halved for newly built homes. Negative gearing would be limited to a landlord's first property. That plan would raise $16 billion for the budget over 10 years. Another option would provide a 25% capital gains discount for new homes owned longer than 3 years and disallow deductions from vacant homes. Lambie has a good quote just down here. Because this Labor government got their asses kicked in the 2019 election, they won't talk about fixing negative gearing. Senator Pocock and I have done the work, and I hope the Treasurer and the Prime Minister will be brave and take this opportunity to consider these sensible reforms. Now we have to talk about something uncomfortable. Labor's been approaching this trying to get the filthy capitalists on board. To this end, the housing accords got the super funds involved. Invest in public and social and affordable housing, guys. This will be a major switch and betrayal of trust with the investor class, like the super fund people. Billions and billions of private investor capital. If you tell them they can't make as much money from this, they'll look elsewhere. Is that better? Worse? Well, it becomes a different game. Bring the wealth along with you to fix the problem, or cut the wealthy off from tax concessions. There's reasonable evidence, all of history, to suggest that investors don't really have people's well-being at heart. They're in it for the money. There's the question of whether this would affect them negatively in the polls, whether they'll make it into the next election. Like, RMIT's fact check considers the changes to the stage 3 tax cuts a broken promise, bringing it to like 3. Look at this shit from Angus Taylor. You're only worse off, by the way, if you're on more than 150K a year. And you're still getting a tax cut, just not as much. I think they're doing okay, as far as promises kept. But now that the media has been complaining for a year straight about cost of living, Labor might have the go-ahead to just get some reforms in and get it done. Maybe they can leave some stuff in specifically for if it's part of the housing accords, but basically every progressive and donkey voter just wants it done. Now's probably a good chance. Might even help Queensland Labor before October's election, seeing that federal Labor has balls.